Oh boy, I bet you weren't expecting that in your recommended. Bet you weren't expecting this in your recommended, baby. RobertIDK, the Odd Ones Out. I haven't looked at a new Odd Ones Out video in like almost a year now. And I am so ready to dive back in. I bet you're wondering, hey Robert, you got millions of views watching the Odd Ones Out before. Why did you stop doing that? And honestly, I just wanted to give it some time. I had watched all of the essential videos by the Odd Ones Out to the point where it was like, okay, if I just keep doing this every week, there's gonna be no more videos. I'll be reacting to James's Instagram stories or something. So I wanted to give it some time so that we could look at some fresh slappers. We are going to look at these modern day slappers. I genuinely can't wait. I can finally watch James again. Let's go. And you know we can't do this without doing the theme song. So if you're ready, people, I'm ready. RobertIDK, The Odd Ones Out, 1, 2, 3, theme song.
Sometimes I feel like the odd one out. No one knows what I'm talking about. So I just go and take a trip to Subway. Some things may keep me awake at night. Board games, my awful roommates and life. So I'll recline and go online. With the odd ones out, I'll laugh a million times.
First. Who else is watching this in current year? I'm first. No, I'm first. Everyone needs to know I was the first person to leave a comment on this YouTube video.
It's
Please.
important, guys. It's
I don't
important.
have a lot going on right now. Fellas, I'm just gonna go ahead and say what we're all thinking here. This video is a forgery.
What?
And also a homosexual.
What? Wow, that was an obscure YouTube reference. That was an OG YouTube reference. I bet most of you guys did not catch that because the person who used to say this as a YouTuber, he probably wants you to forget that that used to be one of his catchphrases. That was Ray William Johnson, bro. Circa like 2011, 2012. James, I'm an OG like you. We know this.
Hey, why are we spending our finite time spreading negativity and arguing with strangers whose minds will never change?
Yeah.
Are we really that bitter we have to bring others down? These comments are pointless because everyone knows I'm first. Yeah! Comment sections in some form or another have been around since the internet's conception.
Wow.
And I don't see them ever going away. So in like 200 years, historians are going to be studying ancient comments to see what life was like back then.
No way, there's too many.
Right underneath this video and any other video ever posted is an open forum for anyone who watched the video to leave their semi-unfiltered, anonymous opinions. And nothing bad has ever come from it. Wait, are you scrolling down to read the comments while the video is playing?
No.
You haven't even finished the video and you're reading the comments? I'm sorry, did I bore you?
No.
Are you bored?
No, I'm not looking at the comments, I promise.
Don't mind me. It's not like we were in the middle of a one-sided conversation or anything. Also, if you see any spam bots, can you report them for me? They're a real problem.
Yeah.
Like most people, I will watch a video and then not add anything to the conversation and go about my day.
That's cool.
Watching more videos.
Okay.
And I know the vast majority of you do this too, because let's math something out. If we look at my last video and take the total amount of comments and divide it by views, we only get 0.4% of people who watch the video leave a comment.
All right, I'm gonna do it. Let's see what the ratio is this time. All right, 7.9 million divided by 138,800. I don't know how to read this. Wait, I think it's the other way around. Okay, I might be a stupid idiot. I might not have taken math in a long time, but if my calculations are correct, we're looking at about a 17% comment rate? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. How many times does 136,000 go into 7.9 million? Guys, I think my brain I promise I'm good at math. I promise. I took calculus, but my brain is not braining right now, guys. If someone can do the math for me, 1, please don't make fun of me. 2, please help. Oh wait, is it 1.75%? I think it's 1.75%. I think that's what we're dealing with, which is more than the average that you're using.
Leave a comment. That's not a whole lot. Oh, I know. What if we look at a YouTuber apology video? I'm sure there's a bunch of people leaving comments, you know, letting people know their thoughts and having a civil discussion.
Of course, very civil.
Only 0.3% of people who watched the video left a comment. Every video I did the math on only ever had a 0.5% view to comment ratio. So if only 0.5% of people are leaving comments, why am I talking about them? Because while most of us aren't comment leavers, I know the majority of us are comment readers. This video and the comment section are digital neighbors. You literally don't have to travel far to read comments. They're right there.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're watching this on a TV, by the way. They are there, trust me.
Yo, shout out to all my TV viewers. I know a lot of you guys watch me on TV. I think literally like half of you guys watch me on TV, which when I was a kid, we didn't even have YouTube on TV. So I think that's super cool, especially people who watch with their family. That literally is like my favorite thing on the entire planet. Do you watch me on TV or something else? Let me know what you watch on in the comments. We trying to get some comments on this video. If we're gonna talk about comments, you better leave a comment because you know I'm gonna be reading them.
And I can prove most people are comment readers because a lot of times a single comment will get more thumbs up than there are total comments on a video.
Whoa.
Which of course they do, because who's gonna take the time to write out a whole comment when they could just thumbs up the ones they agree with? The relationship between YouTuber and comment section is a little complicated.
Yes.
For one, it's the only time I get to kind of have a conversation with 0.4% of you.
Yeah.
If you feel so inclined, you can type out a response to this video, give me feedback, tell a joke, or post a timestamp of a part you liked, and there's a 99% chance I'll never see that. But if I do, and I like what you said enough, I can give your comment a little heart.
Nice.
I perceive this guy. Although there are some challenges with comment sections that are not exclusively YouTuber problems. Even in the early days of the internet, comment sections have had a reputation of being toxic and argumentative. I will say I have noticed that comment sections are not as toxic as they were in the 2010s. Maybe websites have just gotten better at moderating, but I've noticed an overall decrease in the amount of slurs and KYSs compared to when I was 13. So good job, comment section. You're growing up.
Good job, commenters. It does also depend on where you go. There are definitely a lot of horrible, toxic comment sections out there. I like to think ours is pretty chill. I think partially because you guys know I read the comments, so y'all are on your best behavior. But I like to also think that I am kind of a good influence. I don't endorse negativity towards me or anyone. I really don't. Negative comments don't help ever, really. But also, yes, YouTube has a lot of filters built in so that negative comments that are just like really bad just automatically get filtered out, because YouTube doesn't want to be known as a place that has that kind of stuff going on. And they also do genuinely care about keeping their viewers safe. And so yeah, YouTube isn't gonna just allow people to say horrific, awful, like terrible, gross things, you know, wherever you want.
I think there are 3 reasons why comment sections can be very toxic.
Okay.
Number 1, people are more likely to speak out when they disagree with something rather than agree with it. If you come across the comment, "I like cats," you're not gonna go out of your way to comment, "I agree with your opinion, cats are lovely." You might give the comment a thumbs up, but otherwise you're just gonna keep scrolling. But if you're someone who only likes dogs and you have too much free time, now you're getting all worked up seeing a different opinion than yours, so you're gonna comment, "This is really insensitive to dogs, you know, my dog could beat up your cat."
Yeah, that's messed up.
So every comment section will eventually devolve into a cesspool full of people who disagree with each other. But the toxicity is only magnified because of reason number 2, people are anonymous. When you don't have to face real-world repercussions for all the reprehensible you say, there's no limit to the things you won't spout out. Although there is something to be said about never being truly anonymous online. Maybe in the pre-Facebook era, you could get away with saying some
No. Yeah, people are definitely protected by their anonymity online, which I think is part, I guess James is kind of trying to make this point, but I will also say it, that yeah, because of people being being anonymous, they just feel comfortable saying whatever they want or whatever their like intrusive thoughts are. Like they don't need to like think hard. If someone wants to be negative towards something, they don't have to like think about that decision. They don't have to be like, well, you know, maybe I'm not completely right. Maybe I don't have all the information. Maybe other people just have different opinions than me, and that's cool. You don't have to think about that because there's no consequences. You could just say the negative thing. Because dude, if we had to have like a photo of ourselves and our legal name next to all of our comments, that would be probably not good, but you would see a lot less awful comments out there. You really would.
Pre-Facebook era, you could get away with saying some messed up stuff, but now if you upset the wrong person, they'll post your IP address. So, for example, this guy commented, and now I'm outside his mother's home.
Oh, okay.
First! And what makes it worse is you don't know if the comment you're reading is from an adult or a 13-year-old.
Exactly.
And yes, that matters because 13-year-olds aren't people. And the third reason why comment sections are so toxic, sometimes people just want to make you angry.
Yeah.
You know, they rustle your jimmies. They do a little trolling.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all negative comments are trolls. You can have your genuine criticisms, but we've all seen comments that are just trying to stir the pot, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how thought out or correct your response to a troll comment is. As soon as you respond,
they don't want to change their mind.
You've stooped down to their level and lost.
Yeah, exactly. If people are leaving a negative comment, chances are they have already made up their mind. They could be wrong. They could be saying something insane that doesn't make sense and isn't accurate, and you can correct them on their wrongness, but it doesn't matter. People who leave hate comments are not smart enough to think critically and be like, oh, wait a minute. Actually, thank you for explaining it to me. I feel a lot better now. You're right. I was wrong. I'm sorry for doing that. I'm glad we could clear this up. No one who is immature enough to write a hate comment is going to have that epiphany of conscientiousness.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like negative, hateful comments. It doesn't benefit responding to them. They're stupid. You don't gain anything from responding to those people. Just take joy in the fact that you are a mature person who would not stoop to that level.
As soon as you respond, you've stooped down to their level and lost. And the number 4 reason that I just thought of is because I think people can forget that behind these comments and
Real
profile
people.
pictures is a real
people.
person with emotions. Ian Hecox from Smosh made an analogy I really liked, that reading negative comments is like boxing. When you read a negative comment, it's like getting punched in the face. But with training, you can build your stamina to learn techniques and blocks to reduce the damage a punch would do to you.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're still boxing, and there's only so many punches to the face you can take before you have to tap out. I can read 100 positive comments and 1 negative one, and it's the negative comment that'll stick in my brain. I would be lying if I said I never got hurt by a comment. And I know I'm not the only one who feels this way because there's a word for it.
Oh, James. Okay, so James, this is why you're one of the only animators who didn't watch my videos about you. I definitely used to experience this a lot, and I really do think that like every YouTuber has to get, unless they're a sociopath, has to get through this stage. Yeah, you have that thing where you'll read 100 positive comments, cool, and then 1 negative comment becomes the 1 comment you focus on. And that is because we as human beings are designed to detect threats. Things that we need to be afraid of are, you know, people who are wanting to attack us, people who hate us, whatever. We need to be aware of that, so our brain like puts more attention on it. But yeah, for me personally, oh my goodness. No, I have gone through so much, people, and now I am armored, homies. I'm sorry, but you ain't getting through. And I'm sure that James has gotten way better at all that, but I understand if he still deals with it a little bit.
Because there's a word for it. In psychology, there's things called cognitive distortions, which are times when our brain thinks in unhealthy ways, like catastrophizing, overgeneralization, or depersonalization.
Yep.
And one of these distortions is called selective abstraction, which is when we focus on one detail taken out of context and ignore all the other more important details. And it's not exclusive to reading comments either. It's the same thing when you're hanging out with friends and you make one awkward joke and you focus on that for the rest of the night and ignore all the other good interactions you had.
That is also called autism. Unless, I'm sure everyone deals with that, but I think that's a little bit leveled up for homies on the spectrum, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, friends, if you're happy that I'm doing this video again and you want to see me do more stuff like this, let me know by booping like on the video. I would very much appreciate it. And also, yeah, we're talking about comments today, so leave some comments. You know, I do read all the comments. I try to heart as many of them as I possibly can. So give me some stuff to read. I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say because I care about my audience and I care about the things that make you happy and the things that you care about. So yeah.
So how do we stop this flawed way of thinking?
Practice. You can't.
I'm asking you. I don't know. Leave a comment. Sometimes we're able to laugh off mean comments, but I think everyone has at least one comment that got to them. For me, it's always the comments about things I'm insecure about, or the comments saying things about me that are objectively wrong. Unfortunately...
Yes. Valid. I can absolutely relate to that. But yeah, I think back in the day, I used to have like certain types of comments that would bother me more than others. Like when I first started, like comments on my physical appearance would get to me. And I think part of that for me was because I hadn't really grown into the person I wanted to be yet. Nowadays, I genuinely have zero insecurities about like the way I look. But when I was younger, I did. And so back then, those comments would get to me. But nowadays, oh my gosh, if you think I look stupid, that's the point. I don't care.
Unfortunately, the only solution to deal with toxic comments is to just ignore them. Don't even let them take up space in your brain. If you're going to put yourself on the internet, expect to see the good and the very, very bad. You're not going to please everyone, and you don't need everyone's approval. So thank you, 0.5% of people who leave positive comments on internet videos. Us lurkers might not get involved in the conversation, but we sure do love watching the conversation happen from the sidelines.
Oh yeah.
And now that you've watched this YouTube video, let's go see what other people who've watched this YouTube video
no! Not Bob!
Who's this Bob guy?
If you remember Bob, you are eligible for a senior's discount. I don't know why I picked like the hottest outfit. I wanted to wear a sweater. I haven't worn a sweater in ages and I am boiling. And I'm like, yeah, let's also wear sunglasses, a hat, and headphones. That certainly will cool us down. I don't know why I'm so stupid. I might halfway through this video, I might switch into a sleeveless for the real ones out there. I'm gonna try to persevere with my cool sweater. You would never know my butt was sweating if I didn't tell you.
May I have your attention, please?
Yes.
Your attention.
Yes, I'm watching.
Please, may I have some?
Oh, muffin!
Please.
A little rat.
What if I put up gameplay of Subway Surfer and used a robot voice? Would that keep you stimulated?
Yeah.
Wikipedia says that people born between the year 1981 and 1996 are part of a group called millennials. And I am a 96 baby. Hello, year of the rat. What's up?
Nice!
I'm cusping on that millennial Gen Z line, so I can relate to all you Gen Zers, okay? I know what cap means. I know what drip means. And I also don't remember where I was when Night of Ellen happened. However, Gen Z,
Oh my god, James! I am also right on the cusp of millennial. So that's why I get to make fun of Gen Z, even though most of you are very cool and a lot of you are subscribed to my channel and I appreciate you. I get to use the word Zoomer all I want, but it is weird to think my brother is 11 years older than me and he's also a millennial. So yeah, I'm right on the cusp, just like Mr. James here, but I do remember where I was actually.
However, Gen Z, there is a difference between us.
Yeah.
We're both a generation that grew up on the internet, but you grew up with the internet.
Yeah.
We grew up with the internet. The internet didn't used to always look like this. It has metamorphosized a multitude of times. Now, if you talk to an older millennial, they'll tell you the horror stories of the late 90s internet. How the internet used to be paired with your home's landline.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a landline is, good. If you wanted to surf the net at blazing speeds of 7 kilobytes a second, then you couldn't use your telephone at the same time. This was before texting even existed. So if you needed to talk to someone, you had to call them and look up their phone number in that 20-pound weapon known as a phone book, and then if someone else was using the internet, they'd get the pleasure of listening to... Although, if I had to make a sound that represented the entire internet, it would sound exactly like this.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with dial-up, but I did grow up in a time where the internet looked completely different. By the time
I had dial-up for like, I think a year or two. And then my parents were probably like, okay, we cannot disconnect our connection with the outside world every time that Robert wants to play Age of Empires 2. We're gonna get real internet. So yeah, I had dial-up for like a year, and it was very strange having to ask your parents to disconnect the phone. Can you imagine if in order to like play a game right now, you had to shut off all of your phones? Could you imagine a parent that would do that now? Like, hey mom, I wanna look at a cat video on the computer. Can you completely shut out your connection to the outside world? Yeah, that just simply would not happen now. And if anyone in the comments tries to tell me they use dial-up internet, I know you're capping. Stop it.
By the time I was exploring the interwebs, we got speeds up to 1 megabyte per second.
Whoa.
So the highest quality video you could stream on YouTube was in 240p, or this big. And it would still buffer a lot. Gen Z, you weren't there when YouTube had a 5-star scoring system and the subscribe button was yellow and people would put these things all over their videos. You weren't there when the videos were in a 4:3 aspect ratio because that's what TVs look like. You weren't there when a background for a website would be a never-ending grid of a JPEG and music would play against your will and your cursor would turn into a sparkly wand and... Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Whatever happened to that? And then the person who built the website would go, it's looking pretty good, but you know what this web page really needs? A counter that'll tell you the total number of people have visited. Let me just copy this HTML code I found online. And if you're around my age and you also had unsupervised computer time, then great, you were also there to experience the pre-puberty years of the internet. Try to imagine the internet without social media. No Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or MySpace. Were people back then just not talking about themselves or sharing their opinions?
I'll tell you what, the internet was like more of a thing for specific people back then. Nowadays, everyone is on the internet, which is good for me, someone whose job benefits from having as many people be internet users as possible. But yeah, I mean, I was using like online forums, like talking to people through like typing since I was 10 years old. I would use internet forums. And then, yeah, I was a YouTube commenter when I was like 12 because I used YouTube from 2006. If you are watching this and you do not know this information, yeah, I haven't always been RobertIDK, but I have been posting YouTube videos since 2006. At this point, that is the majority of my life. I have spent drastically less time not posting on YouTube than I have posting on YouTube. Just about any YouTuber that you watch, I have been posting videos for longer than them. And that's not me trying to flex. I'm just saying I've been here. I'm really about this life. Back in 2006, I would just like edit SpongeBob clips and make them say bad words and stuff because that was what my 12-year-old brain found funny at the time. And I would edit that. And I honestly, like, I made memes before memes, basically.
Were people back then just not talking about themselves or sharing their opinions online? Were we as a society more connected with the people we knew in the real world?
Wow.
No, of course not. People have been sharing their opinions online since day one. They were just doing it on random message boards. I know it sounds trivial nowadays, but there was once a novelty in being able to type anything you wanted into the computer and then someone else you didn't know would instantaneously respond. Even Neopets, a game targeted to children, had chat rooms and let anyone send unfiltered messages to children.
I did not know that.
I'm surprised I didn't meet any weirdos. That's one thing that'll never change
I
with
used
the
Neopets.
internet.
I didn't know they had chats. I just played the, what are they called? Mirka Chase 2? Wait, can I play this? Do I have to sign in or can I play? No. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? You're joking. This is the game. This is the game I was thinking of. Are you kidding me? I can't tell if this looks different than the one I had before. But yeah, I played a variation. This is what I used Neopets for. I don't think... Okay, I already lost. That's fine.
That's one thing that'll never change with the internet. There will always be weirdos online.
Yep.
In fact, most of a weirdo's life is spent behind a computer.
Yep.
I would know. I think people loved sending messages so much that sometimes your friend would send you a message that said, "You've just been hit by the duck truck. Send this message to 8 of your friends and you'll be as sick as a truck. Ignore and you'll be hit by a 16-wheeler. You have 7 days." And instead of blocking that person, some people would keep the chain going.
You just do it.
Hey, I have a quick question. When was the last time you ever had to type a specific website into your address bar? Probably somewhere about 10 years, give or take.
I still do that.
You just type in a Y, and then YouTube pops up. You put in a T, you get Twitter, and P gets you pictures of alligators.com. And if you had a specific question you wanted to ask the internet, you just Yahoo it, right? Yahoo? Oh, no, that's not the one you kids are using. You kids are using that new search engine, right?
No.
Ask Jeeves?
No, not Ask
like
Jeeves.
4 main websites that everyone goes on. But back then, instead of having a social media account, people made their own websites. So there were a bunch of different websites for you to explore. And to help you find those websites, you had a few search engines to pick from. Everyone loves to dunk on Bing for even attempting to be a search engine, but back in the day, Google had some competition.
He was a Bing boy?
Obviously, I can see why Google...
Wait a minute, was James a Bing boy? This explains a lot. This explains a lot, James. I do remember when Google was created, and next to the search button, they had the I'm feeling lucky button. And I never pressed that button, but I'm pretty sure it took you to like the first result, which to me is really sketchy because the first result could have a virus. This is back when computer viruses were like a genuine concern. But James is a Bing boy. This explains everything.
Obviously, I can see why Google ultimately won the search engine battle.
Yeah.
Google is a great company, and I would recommend Google to all my peers and coworkers. I love Google. As much as I love the internet, some of the best memories we had on the computer weren't even on the internet, were they? Sometimes the internet would just go down. But did that stop us?
No.
Did we go outside?
Never.
No. We were still able to supply ourselves with hours of entertainment even without an internet.
The pinball game?
All you had to do was click start,
game?
all programs,
the pinball game?
accessories, games, and then... Space Cadet Pinball.
Oh, yes. Oh, that feels good. It feels good when you call it like that. I'm telling you, I'm an OG at this computer nerd stuff. And by the way, people, I don't think I have said this yet, but if you're watching this video and you're enjoying it, make sure you're subscribed to James. James and his team did all the hard work. We're just out here being goofy and saying silly things, okay? You better support the original creator. The link is in the description and will be at the end of the video. Thank you.
Space Cadet Pinball. I guarantee every millennial watching this right now just got hit with a big wave of nostalgia. This game might seem simple because there's only 2 buttons that you can press, but when you really got into it, this game had a whole lot more going on. Trust me, Space Cadet Pinball was all we had sometimes, and I cherished every second of it. But if you were anything like me growing up, you were also practicing your art skills.
On MS
And
Paint?
luckily, every computer came pre-installed with a top-of-the-line painting software that every artist needs. Yeah, this program's got everything. There's a line tool and a bucket tool and a circle tool. And sometimes when I was really bored, I would make a black rectangle, scribble the freeform selection tool on it, and then blammo. Yeah, I still got it. I just made a masterpiece.
That's pretty epic.
And fun James bonus tip, for some extra self-induced epilepsy, hold down Control-I, which will invert the colors, so your masterpiece will go... Hey, looks like you're trying to create a conclusion to this YouTube video. Would you like my help?
No.
No, Clippy.
No, Clippy.
Even when you were around, I never used you.
Listen, MS Paint's a real one. MS Paint brought us one of the greatest creatures to ever exist. The legendary Mingus the Protector.
Who's the guy that's gonna make things better? Mingus is the one. When your head is full of stormy weather.
This was actually like, someone cleaned this up. This actually isn't my original drawing. This is my original drawing. Mingus the Protector. Without MS Paint, we wouldn't have one of the most powerful beings to ever exist on this planet. So I will forever be grateful.
No, Clippy. Even when you were around, I never used you. I just liked having you there to keep me company.
Aww.
The internet is still a relatively new invention that is ever changing the way we live.
Yeah.
And we have yet to see the full effects of what being connected since birth does to a person.
Yep.
The fact that the
I
accumulation
think we've kind of
of
figured it
all
out.
human knowledge can now fit in your pocket, that's going to affect your day-to-day life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to get off the internet, touch grass, and live your life to the fullest. Otherwise, I'd be a hypocrite and unemployed.
Yeah.
There's no denying all the positive things that the internet has to offer. But I'm also not going to deny all the negative things that come with instant gratification, too.
True.
As technology advances, so too do we advance the amount of time we spend online. The internet can connect us to a million different people and perspectives that we never would have been exposed to before. But it can also expose us to some really nasty people and perspectives. And the only thing we can do about those people is shrug and say, sorry, that's the internet. So, are
Sad.
we as a society better off with the internet? I think so.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know, just remember to drink water and stretch. All right, that's the lesson of this video. Go stretch. I'm serious. Right now, go touch your toes.
I can touch my toes, guys, just in case you didn't know. Hello, yes. This is proof that I can touch my toes. Straight legs, straight legs. Woo. I'm touching them. I can go further. I can knuckle up.
You should gamble. That's
What?
right, I said it. You all should gamble so you learn firsthand how stupid gambling is. Here's
Got
the
it.
stitch with gambling, okay? Gambling is only fun
If you win.
you don't understand math.
Oh.
Humans have been gambling since the dawn of whenever money was invented. I mean, just take one look at the Las Vegas Strip and you will immediately understand how lucrative the gambling industry is.
Yep.
They built the Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, and Caesar's Palace all on the same street. Gambling is everywhere in Las Vegas. As soon as you step off the plane, you're
Slot
bombarded
machines.
with
Yep.
slot machines in the airport.
Crazy.
Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
You can't wait to gamble. As soon as you step off the airplane, you just immediately go, gotta win big. Look, I understand why people gamble. I get it. I play Magic the Gathering, and opening up a booster pack and not getting any expensive cards
Whack.
is the exact same feeling as losing your entire life savings.
Yeah.
The first time I gambled, I was in Australia for VidCon. After the convention, me and a bunch of mates went to a bar, and I found out that there was a casino attached to it. And I thought, perfect. I'm in a different country, so my parents will never find out that I gambled.
Oh.
Plus, I'm of legal age and independent. Let's get our gambling freak on.
The only time I ever gambled, I went to Vegas for TwitchCon a couple years ago. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but I don't have whatever the thing is in your brain that makes you gamble and want to keep gambling even when you lose. I don't have that. Whatever that is, I am very sympathetic to anyone who does have that, but I don't. The only time that I ever bet or gamble or anything now is if I'm betting on a UFC fight. And I only do that when I feel like I know something that the general public doesn't. Like in 2023 when my boy Sean O'Malley was fighting Aljamain Sterling. And everyone seemed to think that my boy Sean had no chance. But I knew he was way better than everyone was saying he was. And so I placed a bet on that fight. And then this happened.
Early round two.
And so I made money on that day. And that's the only time I gamble.
I was only comfortable asking my friend Moz to borrow some cash because I feel like if a friend asks, hey, can I borrow some money to gamble with? You're never gonna see that money or that friend ever again. All Moz had was a $5, which is Australian for $5. So I only got one chip to gamble
Whoa.
with. And I decided to spend that one chip on roulette.
The one chip challenge.
Because that's the only game I knew how to play. I know how to play blackjack, but I know there's a mathematical algorithm for the best, most perfect way to play. So I don't know how to play blackjack, you know? And poker is too intimidating. I can't deal with people hyperanalyzing my facial expressions to see if I'm bluffing. I already know I'm a bad liar. And the last time I actually played poker was with Luigi on my DS. Here's some honest strategy for the game roulette, okay? sometimes a roulette table will have a TV screen that gives you stats for hot numbers at the table.
Okay.
Like it'll say, Red 23's been popping.
The tip is don't listen to any of that because it's totally random and there is no strategy.
Poppin', it's been hit 14 times today. Ignore those statistics. Every square at a roulette table has an equal chance of hitting regardless of whatever the previous numbers were.
Just do red or black.
Just ignore those stats and always
Bet on black.
bet odd.
Oh, okay.
So, with just one chip to my name,
Let's go.
I was able to turn that single chip
Onto zero.
into 200 Australian dollary dues.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling it. Oh, the gambler's high.
And then you lost it all.
I'm not sure about your investments, but a 4,000% profit is very good. I could have
pretty good.
kept going, but I really wanted to rub my winnings into Maz's face. I cashed out my
job.
chips, went back to the bar, and then slammed the 2 hundos on the table and said something cocky like, "How about them cheeky buggers, mate?"
Cheeky buggers.
James, that's not how you do an Australian accent.
I actually do really respect that James actually knew when to cash out. Cash out. I don't know how you'd say cash out in Australian. Because the problem for most people, they'll get that high and then they'll just keep going until they eventually lose it all. But shout out to James for getting it right the first time. Good job, James.
Cheeky buggers, mate. And Maz was like, "Did you just win those 200 wibbly wobbly dollary dues?" Yeah, and it's all mine. And Maz went, "Hey, you still owe me 200 Australian dollars for that other thing I did for you." Oh, yeah, I guess I do owe you that. Then he
Good.
scooped
You're
up
even.
my 2 Australian hundos that I was just rubbing in his face. It's an anomaly that my very first casino experience was so positive. It was
Yeah.
like the devil himself was tempting me to continue gambling. See? Gambling lets you pay off your debts. Never stop. That, or I'm just really good at Australian roulette. This is probably how people get addicted to gambling, huh?
Yeah.
Casinos are designed to make you stay in them for as long as possible. There's no clocks or windows, so you can't see how late it's getting.
so
Chips
weird.
are used, so it doesn't feel like you're spending money. And there's supposedly free alcohol while here, but I guess they run out whenever I show up. But even knowing all the ways casinos manipulate you, it's kind of fun just being inside a casino. All the
kind of.
lights, the old ladies at the slot machines smoking away their already decaying lungs, the people crying in the bathroom because they have a gambling addiction. It's great. Hey, buddy.
Wow, I don't think I experienced that part. I feel like if someone was crying over their gambling addiction in a casino, they would get escorted out immediately. The people running the casino do not want you to know that it's a horrible problem for many people and that it is a objectively negative space for many, many people. But if I'm ever in a casino again, I will make sure to cry in the bathroom.
Hey, buddy. Don't worry, you're gonna win next time, I'm sure
No,
of it.
don't say
To
that.
counter the life-ending stressors, though, people will give the advice, if you're gonna gamble, have a set budget and just assume you're gonna lose it all. But I
Kinda
couldn't
valid.
even do that. Not the sticking to a budget part. I couldn't bring myself to gamble away my allotted budget. When I went to Vegas, I told myself I was only going to gamble $300.
Oh.
But after I lost $200, I thought to myself, yeah, I don't think this is a good investment anymore. One time I was on a slot machine and I got the 5 buffaloes in a row or whatever, and I got the chance to win a jackpot.
Oh, no.
There was a mini game on the slot machine where I had to flip over tiles that had either bronze, silver, or golden apples. And if I flipped over 3 golden apples, I'd win the
no.
golden jackpot. And if I flipped over 3 silver apples, I'd get the silver jackpot.
Take your money and
bronze
run.
apples gave the bronze jackpot, which was the lowest jackpot. The gold jackpot was $5,000.
Oh, no.
So I flip over the first tile, and it's a golden apple. And I think, whoa. Then I flip over another tile, and it's another golden apple. And that's when I got the feeling.
There it is again, that funny feeling. That funny feeling.
Oh my God. I might actually win
It ain't happening.
$5,000.
It ain't happening.
Then I flip over 3 bronze apples in a
No!
row, winning the lowest jackpot. I don't even remember how much it was because I spent it all on the very same slot machine. And I immediately knew what happened. The game was dangling that golden jackpot right in front of my face, making me think I was one golden apple away from making it big, even making me pick which tile to flip over so it would make me feel more in control. When the whole time the computer could just change what was on the tile that I flip over because it's a computer. It can cheat. It's Schrodinger's jackpot. And before you think I just got really bad luck, that very day I was walking through the casino and I saw a guy playing on the same slot machine and he got to the same jackpot minigame. And I stopped to watch him and the exact same thing happened. He flipped over 2 golden apples and then 3 bronze ones. I don't know what the statistics are of that happening twice, but it's mighty coincidental. Why are we still gambling if the majority of people who gamble lose all their money? Because it's fun. It's a stupid way to spend your money, absolutely. But the rush, man. In Australia,
James, we don't need another crypto zoo situation. My positive influence muscles are tingling right now, and I get uncomfortable when he acts like gambling is good. Honestly, if you go through your whole life and never gamble once, you're not missing anything, okay? Gambling destroys lives. Same way if you go through your entire life without ever drinking, you're cool too, that's fine. These things can be super dangerous for some people, and honestly, if you can find healthier things to find fun, I recommend doing that.
But the rush, man! In Australia, there were multiple times where I could have lost all my money, and statistically I should have. But whenever an odd number was hit, I couldn't help but throw my hands in the air and celebrate. I was hugging the dealer over winning $20. However, no matter how many times you win the jackpot, if you spend enough time in a casino, you will always lose. Ever hear the phrase, the house always wins? That's because they have the mathematical advantage and computers who cheat. Gambling is not an investment. It's not a way to pay off your debts. It is entertainment. If done responsibly and in a social setting, gambling is absolutely fine to indulge in. And if you get upset that you lost all your money, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, man, you gotta quit while you're ahead. The house always wins, etc. That was interesting to hear those stories, especially James talking about the amount he gambled when I think that man is a millionaire. But homies, I hope you enjoyed our trip back to The Odd Ones Out. And if you really liked this video and you haven't seen every video on The Odd Ones Out I've done, here's the full playlist. Check it out. If you wanna keep the party going, just watch one of these videos that you haven't seen before. Here's James's channel, make sure you're subscribed. Here's another video of mine that YouTube thinks you'll like. I'll see you in these videos or I'll see you down here. Peace out, people. Bye.